team like Kyrie and KD, or the Lake Show with King James and AD. Wish I could match him up with the bad boys from the 80s, but no black and white, I need that in HD. HenDawgz.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawgz, and we back to it. You know how we do it. I hope everybody is having an awesome day, awesome morning, night, wherever it is, whatever the time is when you're watching this video. I hope you're having an amazing day. But let's get into it. We got part 6, the finale. This is gonna be the last video. I hope y'all been enjoying this documentary, because I have. I feel like I've learned so much about Magic and Larry Bird, and I feel like I'm only gonna learn more. So if I got any more videos about these two, go ahead and send them through, because I want to react to everything. I know people were saying this is probably like the best documentary for them, but I'm sure it's not the only one. So go ahead and throw any of those other ones in there in the comments, man, if y'all want. But make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 10K subscribers ASAP, so let's get on that, man. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that button real quick. But yeah, let's get into it. We're not even about to talk too much. Oh, I feel like I always say that when I want to get into the video. Like, I'm not gonna talk this much. I feel like could be talking for like 30 minutes and I'll still be like, well, I'm not about to talk so much. So, but let's get into it, man. We got Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, A Courtship of Rivals Basketball, Part 6, the finale. Let's get it.
The best I've ever seen, you know. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say.
I was shocked that he said it, because I thought to myself, maybe this is the beginning of a new era that's not going to include him. It was the passing of the torch a little bit.
Or
After vanquishing.
what y'all think about that, Bird Gang? Shout out to the Bird Gang. You know I gotta shout y'all in every video. But do y'all think this was the passing of the torch, or was she a little premature on that? Let me know in the comments.
Bird in '87, Magic wasn't done winning. The following year, he squared off in the finals against his good friend Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons, beating them to become the NBA's first repeat champions in 2 decades. By the dawn of the 90s, he'd won 5 titles, played in 8 finals, and equaled Bird's MVP tally of 3. But the more Magic won, the less Irvin seemed to be around to reap the spoils.
Once I tasted the champagne and the championship, I wanted more of that and more of that. So Magic kept growing because we were successful. And the persona and all of that came with that.
The Prince of LA was now the king. And in Hollywood, being royalty had its perks.
What was Irvin Johnson's vice? Now, you know my publicist wants me to say winning. But women loved Irvin.
Back then, before voicemail, they used to have these mail slots in the hotels where you leave your key. And when we get into a town, Irvin's mail slot would be so packed, and it would be just Susan and a phone number, Linda and a phone number, Joyce and a phone number.
Man.
I mean, that was every city, every time.
So if I haven't watched Winning Time, go ahead and check that out. Episode 3 came out yesterday, and we had a watch party at the writer of the show's, well, not the writer of the show, the writer of the book, because there's a book that came out called Showtime. It's in the living room. I would grab it, but I don't feel like going past this green screen. But there's a book called Showtime, and the show is based off the book. So the writer of the book invited us over to his house yesterday to watch episode 3. But I'm saying all that to say this. Episode 3, Magic was getting it in, man. Like, it was a little kind of introduction of Magic Johnson and that LA Hollywood lifestyle. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy. Now, I kind of see why Magic not so happy with my show, but that's for a whole other story. But yeah, I had to tell y'all that.
I was on top of my game as Magic, so I needed all that around me at that time. The women, the this, the that, Hollywood.
That made him play better.
Magic was living in the context of sybaritic excess from the minute he walked in the door, and he developed a sweet tooth.
Sex with several women at the same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I said, women have different fantasies. Some want to be with 2, 3 at a time. one time I had 6 at one time.
Sound like your fantasy,
I
bro.
really do believe he looks upon Magic Johnson as a movie character he played. I think Irvin got overwhelmed in LA by what it meant to be a star.
That's probably true that the Magic ego swallowed Irvin a little bit, but that's okay because I couldn't win 5 championships without that.
Through all of this haze of women and money and fame and fortune, he still kept basketball at number one. He never seemed to lose that focus.
That's cool. That's what I was gonna say too. Like, do y'all think that that's really true though? Do you think he could have just came out to LA and you know, I don't know what, you know, players do, but I feel like Magic was a little over the top. So do y'all think if he would have just chilled and just been like just been Irvin, never been Magic, would he have still been that same player? Or do y'all think he needed the glamour, the Hollywood, the women, the spotlight? Like, he needed all of that to like elevate his game even more. I mean, I feel like that's a tough question to ask. But let me know what y'all think though. Let me know what y'all think. Because Larry Bird, I feel like was the opposite. Like, he went to work, aka the basketball court, and then went home. Probably had a beer at home, and that was his day. And they both kind of had the same type of careers for the most part. So I don't think there's one way to do it. But do y'all think just because of Magic or who he was, you know, playing for the Lakers, not in Boston, did he have to do that? Let me know in the comments.
Larry had 2 jobs his last 7 years of playing. It was playing basketball, and then it was him being committed to taking care of his back.
He had first heard it in 1985, building the driveway at his mom's house back in French Lick.
Building driveway, that's what Larry Bird was on.
This is Larry Bird, the superstar, out there breaking his back, literally shoveling gravel. And that was the beginning of a process.
I would see him on TV laying down, and then they told me that he had to lay down on planes, different things like that. I was like, wow.
As Magic soared through the prime of his career, Bird was breaking down. His deteriorating back.
So what year do y'all think that looked like that hurt so bad? That might have been it right there. But what year exactly would y'all say was Larry Bird's last year without having, you know, the messed up back? I always feel like he had injuries. You know, I think he had like a finger injury in college, and I'm sure he was, you know, banged up a little bit early in his career. But what was that last year? Was it like 84, 85, 86, where the back wasn't the topic of the conversation? Because I feel like, you know, later on in his career, it was pretty much like Larry Bird and his back is out there playing. But what would you think was that last year where it was like the back wasn't even, you know, a topic of the conversation? Let me know.
Back and punishing style of play, proving an excruciating mix.
From 88 to 92, it was painful to watch. It was painful to cover. Larry is quite ornery when he's not feeling well, which means he was ornery for those next 4 years.
He could manage the pain in a way that very few people can do. There'd be days he could come in the office and he couldn't stand up straight.
But even after 2 ruptured Achilles tendons, and surgery on his back in 1991, Bird kept going to work.
He had 2 ruptured Achilles? I never knew about the Achilles injuries. I feel like that's probably worse than the back, right? I think if I had a bad back or a ruptured Achilles, I think the ruptured Achilles would be holding me back more. I mean, I could be wrong, but I just feel like an Achilles injury is crazy. I didn't know he had them issues too.
Product of a lesson learned many years before, seeing the swollen ankle of a man long since gone.
Pops?
Well, we don't know if it broke or not, but it looked broke to me. Had to go to work and he had to get his boot on, and it took everything I had to help him get that boot on his foot. And he stood up limping, and he said, well, I'll see you this weekend, because he was working construction at the time. And I was pretty amazed how he could fight through that all week, then come home on the weekend, and it was black and swollen, and he'd sit around on the weekend and put that boot on and go again. If you get paid to go to work, you got to go to work.
It was a situation that he was seeing almost daily. He had lost the structural stability in his spine, so it would slip into abnormal positions to try and lock itself to get an artificial stability. That's like getting your finger stuck in a door and somebody's still pushing on the door. So what we had to do was unlock his spine, realign it, do techniques that would hold that for 4 hours, 6 hours, that type of thing, and then he'd go play basketball.
What do y'all think drove him to want to play so bad And I feel like I done paused it a bunch, but oh well, hey, I do what I want. This is my YouTube channel. But what do y'all think, like drove him to want to continue to play? Because I feel like 99% of basketball players, if they had those injuries where they had to do structural surgery to his back, like, he's not about to keep playing basketball. Like, did that have something to do with Magic Johnson out there winning, and he just wanted to continue to, like, not move too far away from Magic? Like let me know what y'all think was the real. Was it just his dad? You know, seeing how, like he said with his dad, his ankle being super swollen, and you know, he said if you get paid to go to work, you go to work. So did that have something to do with it? That mindset of, like, you know, the Boston Celtics are paying me, so I need to be out there no matter what. Let me know in the comments what y'all think was the real reason why Larry Bird didn't just give up and you say, you know what, I've had a hell of a career. You know, I've done my thing, but my back is not holding up. My Achilles is not holding up. Like, I had a good run. But he was like, no, like, I'm going to be out there to the point where I can't even sit on the bench. Like, I can't even sit in the airplane. I'm laying down. Like, that's not normal. But he's still out there getting buckets. So let me know what y'all think was the motivation behind it.
Every time I would play, I was wondering if I was going to be in a wheelchair, or was I ever going to be able
like, that's crazy to have that mindset to play basketball.
On the beach or hold my kids.
His pain and his quest for basketball became all-encompassing. Very few people really knew what Larry was living with, because this was Larry's issue, and there was no sharing of his pain.
You know, I probably should have retired in 88, 89, but it's that competition. Maybe one more chance, maybe Magic get together in the finals, but it never happened.
So it was Magic a little bit. He wanted to be the greatest.
Sleeping, really, laying down, just waiting on the game, and the phone rings, and the voice says, "Hey, you gotta come back to LA." And I said, "Okay, why?" "Well, I can't tell you until you get to LA."
That's scary.
So I said, "Okay."
2 hours later, he was in the office of Lakers team physician Michael Melman.
Dr. Melman starts to tell me that, you know, through the physical that I took, that they discovered that I had HIV.
Tough.
First time ever in my life. I'm such a control freak, right? And do things the right way. I'm out of control.
I blame Dr.
It was
Buzz.
everything. How is it possible? What happened? How did it happen to me? And my mind is racing, you know, and then you're just devastated.
Further complicating things, Magic had gotten married just 2 months earlier.
2
But he
months?
feared the worst for his new bride, Cookie, who was pregnant with their first child.
I don't know what's going to happen with my wife and my baby. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't have control of the situation, and I was lost just for that next 2 or 3 weeks.
And after Magic learned neither his wife nor his unborn child were infected, he began revealing the news to his inner circle.
The phone rang, and it was Magic's agent, Lon Rosen. And he said, "Irvin's looking for you, call him." And I said, "I'll call him when I get to Paramount." And he says, "Call him now." I said, "Lon, I'll call him when I get to Paramount. I'll be there in 20 minutes. And he said, "You got to call him now. Irvin's HIV positive."
I know this is not a joking matter right now, but y'all can't say that don't look like John Sally. I thought that was John Sally this whole time. I didn't know that was Arsenio Hall, but y'all can't say that don't look like John Sally.
I remember I was sitting on the bed. I remember standing up at that point. And I said, "How is that possible?"
Because he was out there going
I'm
crazy.
thinking Irvin's going to get skinny and die. I mean, literally, that's what I thought. Irvin's going to get skinny and die.
The first person I thought of was Larry. I wonder what Larry thinks.
Larry didn't care. Larry probably like, oh shoot, that's a bet. Well, hey, if he match up with me, I'm gonna still give me buckets. Like that's probably the mentality Larry Bird had.
The thing that I heard about Magic, it just sort of changed my love for basketball. It shook me up. You know, you get that feeling, probably the same type of feeling I had when my father died.
He wants to understand why. You know, how can I talk to him? I need to speak to him. It was just really important for Larry to talk to him.
You know, sort of, I don't know. I wanted to hear it from him. Probably didn't believe it.
And it's crazy because back then people were so uninformed of what HIV was, what AIDS was. Like you see what Arsenio Hall said. He said that he thought as soon as he heard the news that Magic was just about to get skinny and die, like right there. Like that was kind of the mindset that people had around HIV. And I think Isaiah Thomas said something where he was like, he thought only gay people got HIV or just some like weird stuff that is not true at all about HIV. But like back then people just didn't know. And now this super mega star, superstar it got it. And it's people like, what the heck? Like, so what's about to happen? But once I feel like people, I think in a way, with Magic getting it, it allowed people to kind of get informed on it, like worldwide. It's like, okay, what is HIV? What is AIDS? And I think that kind of helped people understand what it was a little bit more. So in a way, Magic kind of built the awareness about it. So people didn't just think like as soon as you get HIV that you literally about to just fall out and die. Like that's not reality. But yeah, like still a crazy situation. But I mean, I'm just happy that Magic got through it and he still got a smile on his face to this day.
Called me, we're talking. It's just how you doing? I heard about it, and you can almost hear both of us with some tears in our eyes, and I'm choked up because he did call me. And when something happens, to you, and then you find out who really your friends are and people who really care about you. You figure all those battles, all those things we had to go through as warriors, as competitors, and as men. And here this man says, hey, you know what, man, you're okay. And so that was the greatest moment for me too, to have him check on me and to make sure I was okay.
Before he get into this interview, like he brings up a super great point. Like when everything is going well, everything is going good, you're gonna have so many people, around, just like everything is great. But when things get cloudy, who's gonna stick around? Who's gonna really be there for you? Who's gonna be the person to be like, you know what? Like I know you're not feeling good, but hey, like it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be cool. Like. A lot of people was just around for the party, for the glamour, just for the fun. But it's like the real ones is gonna be there at all times. The real ones is gonna really be there, and you gotta find those people. It's tough. The older I get, and I feel like I'm just kind of talking. Just kind of feel like therapy right now because this really resonates with me. So like damn, it's crazy. Like who gonna be there? Who gonna be there when you need them? Who gonna be there? But that's all I got, man. I ain't gonna get too deep because this is real. This is real.
First of all, let me say good late afternoon. Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers today.
It's the only press conference I've ever been in where I've seen reporters cry. I mean, we thought this guy was in total denial.
I plan on going on living for a long time, bugging you guys like I've always have.
We thought this smile was going to be wiped off his face forever, and he was going to die. We're going to watch him die in public.
How old was Magic when this interview? When he got diagnosed with HIV? What was his age?
I just remember in the room he was joking, and I'm sitting there looking at him crying, and he's like, "Coop, man, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right.
I am gonna go on. I'm gonna beat it, and I'm gonna have fun."
Sure, come on, you're gonna beat this? And to him, it was a contest. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, AIDS and Magic Johnson, it's same thing. It's just a different game, different rules, but I'm still gonna win.
He wasn't planning on going nowhere. Urban was planning that day to find the right medicine, to eat right, get rest, and live forever. That's what he was planning.
And that's what he did.
Thank you again, and I'll see you soon.
But his Magic put up a positive public face. His nemesis, still out of sorts, shed the mask he had hidden behind for years.
He was visibly like, wow, how could that happen? You know, it really set him back.
Probably the 2 toughest days I've had since my father passed away. I've been very depressed and sort of been out of it.
I listened to him talk in this press conference about how devastated he was, and I remember thinking to myself, goddamn, Larry found Irvin.
Just out of the blue, something like that happening. It's just, I've never had, other than one other instance, and I was hoping I'd never see that again, because I remember how I felt weeks after that. And yesterday was just a sad day.
And at his game that night, Bird was forced to confront pain he couldn't so easily play through.
Didn't want to be there that night. First time ever. And really last. I remember we played in Atlanta. Had no feel for the game, This wasn't a good time to be out there. Never had that before.
That night he threw a pass. I'll never forget it. He threw a half-court pass behind his back for a layup. And if you blurred your eyes, just squinted your eyes, it looked like magic. And it was Larry saying goodbye.
Got the magic flashy pass out there.
This competition thing is amazing. What it does to you. What you put your body through and what you do and what you say and how you feel. And knowing that he's not there wouldn't feel right. I think it's all them years that, what's he doing? What if he's practicing this hard? I bet he shot 500 shots a day and I didn't get 500 in. It's always that mind games.
So I was completely wrong about how I thought Larry Bird was reacting to the news. Like, he was actually the complete opposite of, oh man, I'm about to still give him buckets. Like, he almost kind of forgot about basketball. He even said, like, he changed the way he thought about basketball because of what happened to Magic. Because it's like, it's this person that you battle with for 10 plus years. Like, he said in the back of his head, he always thinking, like, when he get enough shots, like, I wonder if Magic get enough shots. So, like, when something bad happens to that person, just kind of put it all into perspective. Like, life is short. Like, life is precious, man. Like, you got to kind of hold on to them relationships you got. So I think that's kind of why Larry Bird felt the way he felt. But why do y'all think Larry Bird was so emotional, or why he felt so strongly about Magic when it kind of seemed like he used to go out his way to not be cool with Magic? But let me know what y'all think.
Bird played through the 91-92 season, his last in the NBA. But a part of him was already gone.
I didn't check the papers anymore. It didn't matter. I still want to compete, but it wasn't the same. It really wasn't.
With the exception of that year when he was called Tragic Johnson because on the basketball court things didn't shake down properly, this is the first time I'm hearing ignorance, hatred, vicious, nasty things.
There was some of my former teammates who had their own little things that they were talking about and why this happened to me.
You know anybody else that's heterosexual that got it? Come on, man. You're in denial.
Isaiah.
I've been called gay, faggot, Irvin's lover. I've been called all that shit.
Lon Rosen got a call from Isaiah Thomas asking, I keep hearing Magic's gay. And Lon said, well, for crying out loud, you know better than anybody he isn't. You're one of his best friends. And he said, well, We don't know what's going on in Hollywood, and the fact that Isaiah was questioning why he got this, I think it was really, really hurtful to him.
He used to say, I don't want people to stop shaking my hand.
Your enemies is always closer than you think. Like, I feel like you shouldn't really be worried about the people that's, hating out loud. You gotta worry about the people that's hating behind closed doors. Them the people you gotta worry about.
Give me my hug. He loves to be loved. And that's what bothered him the most, that people would change in relationship to him.
He would show up at the Lakers facility to work out and to shoot some baskets, and he'd try to engage his teammates and say, hey, you want to play a little one-on-one before practice? And, oh, geez, no, I can't. I got to go get taped. Or, oh, geez, I got work to do. I got to do something else.
It wasn't rocking with you?
The worst thing of all of this is that I couldn't play basketball. I don't even think dealing with HIV. It was that I couldn't play.
The game, the surroundings was his whole world. That's his personality. When you take that away, you're hurting. I knew he was hurting in a big way.
Do y'all think with what we know in today's society in 2022, if a NBA player was to be diagnosed with HIV, would he have to retire, or would he just continue to play? I'm actually kind of curious about that. I don't even want to give an example of a specific player because I don't even want to put that on him, but just any NBA player, a top-level NBA player right now, if he got diagnosed with HIV, do y'all think he would have to retire like Magic did? Or because we in 2022 and we a little bit more informed about, what HIV is and what all that is, would he still be able to play? Let me know. What y'all think?
The only sex is safe sex, and that's no sex.
As basketball went on without him, Magic performed ably in his new role as HIV educator and spokesman.
I'm gonna help in every way that I can.
But he still pined for the arena, which had made him a star. So when he was invited to play in the 1992 NBA All-Star Game, he jumped at the chance, promptly stealing the show and winning MVP honors. But that was just a warm-up for the encore Magic had up his sleeve.
He's not done yet because we're going to go to Barcelona and bring back the gold for everyone here in the United States.
So the Dream Team is after all this?
For the first time ever, NBA players would be competing in the Olympics. And Magic, armed with a message, was not about to miss the show.
Wait, so I'm kind of confused. So whose idea was it for him to retire? Was it the trainer's idea? Was it his idea to retire? Because he retired, but then came back, played in the All-Star game, and played in the Olympics. So it's not like he couldn't play no more. It's like, did they force him to retire? I'm kind of actually curious now on what made him retire if he was going to still come back. I think they even said he came back in 1995.
Would have proved to people that you were not going to get the disease playing against me. And then also for me too, personally, it was therapy. It was a way to say, man, yeah, you get to do this one more time.
There was also one other perk.
I think playing with Larry was very important. That's something they talked about. I mean, he was going to be on the Dream Team. He was going to be with Michael. He was going to be at Barkley. But he was going to play with Larry.
Magic kept saying to him, I just want to get you out on that court one more time. Let's just have one more sequence like we had all the way back in 1978. But it was interesting that with Magic being the one that was HIV positive, he felt great. He was in the best shape of his life.
That's a
he
good
worked
point.
so hard to make sure he didn't go there as a token player. And here was Larry, who couldn't even practice, who could barely move.
But you know what? Didn't matter. We were still together. It didn't matter.
So Magic was well rested. His legs was feeling good. He hadn't really been playing for real. Larry Bird's still back messed up, still playing these long seasons. So it's crazy to think about it. You would think that Magic would kind of be the guy that was rusty, out of shape, hurting, sore, but it was actually the opposite because he wasn't in those 82 game seasons no more. That's actually crazy to think about. That's hard. That's so hard.
And who's taking the last shot with the game on the line?
When I got my opportunity, I still was Magic.
I still was Magic. Ooh.
14 years after they'd first crossed paths, the smiling kid from Lansing and the shy boy from French Lick were happily back together in Barcelona. But it took just one glance outside their hotel's front door each morning for them to see that as far as they had come, they were as far apart as ever.
The only way you walk up that door if you wanted attention. But I asked this guy, how can you get around this? There's got to be a way. Lo and behold, there was a side door. You can go wherever you want.
Magic probably was still going out front.
Seeing that smile on his face, the closer you got to that front door, come on. He didn't want no side door.
Right. Magic better chill, man.
I'm going out the front because that's who I am. I don't go out the back. I don't go out the side.
That's not me. If you want to go somewhere in a hurry, there's a door that leads you there. And I found it.
I respected him for that. And so, hell, I would try to find a side door for him. And we never tried to change each other. That's what made this relationship great.
You loved him for who he was.
One of my pet peeves always is when people say, oh, Michael Jordan saved the NBA. Bullshit. Bullshit. Magic and Larry saved the NBA. That's who saved the NBA. Magic and Larry.
Magic and Larry. Bird and Magic. To the millions who once watched them, now more than ever, they are inseparable.
I never seen that.
A pair of athletes thrown together by the cosmos to compete. A pair of men who discovered a bond in the midst of that competition. Decades removed from the height of their rivalry, their bond endures. Two impossibly different men with a connection only they can fully grasp.
It's almost like a private little club, and only the two of them are in it. And every once in a while, they need to show up to have a reunion and pay their dues to each other. But they don't need the day-to-day contact that most friends need. It's just not that kind of relationship.
I always get this good feeling when I know I'm going to see him because it makes you feel good. You know, it really does. He's unbelievable.
He's very private, but if he's your friend, man, you got a friend for life.
That's real.
And Larry Bird is a straight shooter. He'll tell you when he don't like you. That's one thing I wish I could have from him. That he has that I don't have. I wish I had that.
I mean, he walked in here, this whole room would change, and maybe that's what I always wanted to be, but I just couldn't.
Damn, man, that was good shit right there. Round of applause, man. Round of applause. This documentary almost had me crying, yo. This is crazy. I ain't never almost cried on camera, let alone watching a documentary. So that's how I know how good this documentary was. But I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. I appreciate y'all for going along with this documentary with me. Shout out to the people that's watched all 6. Let me know what y'all thought about all 6. Let me know what y'all thought about me. You know, how my input on everything. I highly appreciate that because a lot of times y'all keep me going, man. Like, it be times where sometimes I don't feel like doing reaction videos or I don't feel like, you know, getting on this camera. And then I'll go check my YouTube channels and I get a whole bunch of good comments, stuff that make me feel good in the comments, and I jump right up. You know, that immediately motivates me to get these through. So if y'all got something good to say, man, go ahead and write them in the comments. Even if y'all got some constructive criticism, go ahead and put them in the comments. If I got something bad to say, I'm probably not even going to read or pay no attention to it because I don't really care about that. But I appreciate y'all like always. One thing that I'm going to say from this video that I learned, you got good people around you, hold on to them. And if you got people that's, you know, you kind of skeptical about, get them out your life, man. You don't need them. You got at this point in our lives, I feel like it's all about, you know, being around positivity, being around people that can help you grow. So if you got a minor, like, if you see a little bit of somebody that they might hold you back, get rid of them, man. But I appreciate y'all like always. Please, please, please subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't. Hopefully there's some other documentaries out there I can do like this, where I can make it into like a part 6 series, because I definitely enjoyed this. Like this video if y'all liked it, and go ahead and write something in the comments. But I appreciate y'all like always. I'll see y'all soon. We out.